Yo, 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 I know. I'm a couple minutes late. I know. It's a live show, all right? Just come on. Just cut me some slack. We're trying to figure some stuff out, all right? But we got a great show for you, so stay tuned.
Good morning and welcome to Hashtag Rise and Grind. I am your host, Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to one, a father to seven, and the creator of what is going to be the number one most watched morning show in the world. It is 5:30 a.m. and I hope that you are ready to rise and grind.
I know the intro says that it's 5:30 a.m., but it's not. It's actually 5:34. It is 5:34 a.m., and I am going to admit that me and my man Diaz having a little trouble this morning. But guess what? We got it figured out. But we got it figured out. Good morning. Today is Friday, June 14th, 2019. That's right. Today is Friday, June 14th, 2019. And what's crazy is today is the very first and the very last time it'll ever be Friday, June 14th, 2019. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most of this incredible day. It's supposed to be like 75 degrees today here in Lexington. Nice and sunny. No rain for a change. We've had a ton of rain, so it's supposed to be 75 and sunny. I'm super excited to actually be a business owner because I'm going to spend some time in the office today. I'm also going to spend some time outside hanging out with the kids today. It's going to be a beautiful day. This week we have been training and talking about taking control of our lives, right? And we broke it down on how important it was that we take a stand against the things that we don't want in our life and for the things that we do want in our life. We also talked about how first there is the thought, right? If it starts as a thought, then we have to turn that thought into the word, and then that word becomes action. We have to take action if we want to get any results. And we broke down what action actually looks like, where we seek, right? We go out, we seek, we study, we seek counsel, we study the best way to do things, and then we share our ideas with the world. And that's how we actually take action. Then we talked about letting things go, how we have to let some of these things go that we allow to hold us back. Sometimes it's people, sometimes it's thought, but there's things that we have to let go in order to win. And then yesterday we talked about perspective, how important it was, how we look at things. You've heard the saying, I'm sure, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, right? Powerful quote, and so much truth. So we talked about the different perspectives, and what's neat is today's guest, Jonathan Gabriel Diaz, he has a very unique perspective on life. He's also got a super dope beard that I love. He's like the beard dude, but he's got this incredible perspective, and he's always sharing videos in our group, short little motivational videos, and I just love the light that this guy's got in his eyes, the spirit that he carries in his soul, and the wisdom that he shares in our group. So I thought, who better to kick off the meet a member of our group, the Rise and Grind monthly Meet a Member. Who better to kick that off than my man Jonathan Diaz? We're going to do this once a month. We're going to do a monthly Meet a Member here in Hashtag Rise and Grind because yes, it's cool to have celebrities on the show. And yes, it's cool to have all these big wig, multi-millionaire, players in the business industry on the show. That's cool. But what's really cool is when we get down to our roots and we get to meet our people and our fellow family members here in the Rise and Grind group. It's one of my favorite things to do. So I want to make sure that the second Friday of every month, you can count on Hashtag Rise and Grind Meet a Member on our show. So Jonathan's going to come on in just a second. We've got him. I've got him on video. It took a little while to get him, but we've got him. So he's going to come on in just a minute. But before he comes on, I want to share a quick little story with you. We've been talking about how first there's the thought, then it becomes the word, and then we take action, right? And I don't know if you know this or not, but my wife, she went to take a nap. This was a couple months ago or a few months ago. My wife went to take a nap, and I had to send some writings to my literary agent. My literary agent was like, send me whatever you've written. I'm like, cool, I'll send you everything that I got. And so my wife laid down to take a nap. I sat down, opened up my computer, and I went to start sending stuff to my literary agent. And when I did so, all of a sudden, I wrote these words: grow your business for God's sake. And honestly, I had no idea where that came from. It was just words that came into my mind. I wrote them on the paper, and then I thought, well, I'm just going to continue to flow with this. Whatever this looks like, I'm just going to keep going. And I ended up doing what's called a book proposal. So I ended up outlining a 13-chapter book in a 2.5-hour session while my wife was napping. It just poured through me. It was incredible. And so my wife wakes up from the nap, and I'm like, honey, look at this. And I showed it to her. She's like, hold on, let me get this straight. I just took a nap, and you just wrote a book. And I'm like, well, yeah, sort of. I can't really claim the book because I don't know where it came from. I just knew it was powerful. So first there was the thought. Then it became the word, and then we took action on it. Fast forward to today, we now have a conference going on in Nashville, Tennessee called Grow Your Business for God's Sake. And we pulled together some powerful business people from around the world. We've got Lisa Copeland, radio personality. We got Danelle Delgado, who's just a world shaker. You've got Steve Brewster, who built an empire in the Nashville area in the wholesale industry. Sharon Lechter, who sold 30 million copies of the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and was also she was the head of the Napoleon Hill Foundation for a decade, which for those of you that don't know Napoleon Hill, I gotta let you know that Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, myself, any motivational speaker that you've ever heard in your entire life has built their entire foundation off of what Napoleon Hill did back in the 1930s. That's where self-help all came from. So she ran their foundation forever, Miss Sharon Lechter. And so I'm super stoked to be able to bring these people to you in Nashville, Tennessee, August 16th and 17th. I hope you will attend. We partnered with Cornerstone Nashville Church, which allowed us to do the ticket prices super cheap. I mean, you're talking about a conference that would normally cost upwards of thousands of dollars to attend, and we get to do it for $149. So if you haven't got your tickets yet, make sure to growyourbusinessforgodsake.com, or for short, you can go to growforgod.com and get your tickets now. Super important. Something else I wanted to mention on that is what I've noticed is that a lot of people that are buying tickets right now, they're bringing their spouses, which is awesome, right? Typically, a lot of these conferences, one goes, the husband goes, or the wife goes, but they don't go together. I've got people buying in doubles and bringing their spouses, and I love it because it is a family. It's great. Everything that you will learn at Grow Your Business for God's Sake and listening to Darian's music, it's all powerful for both husband and wife. So make sure you bring your spouse in on this one. My friends Ryan and Blair would tell you, because we are better together. And Ryan and Blair actually have a group here on Facebook called Marriage Movement. If you're not a part of that group and you are married, I highly suggest you jump into it. It's really cool. It's completely free, but it's awesome. Better Together with Ryan and Blair. They're just amazing human beings. So enough of that stuff. Jonathan's like antsy. He's ready. He's eager to get up in here. But before we bring him in here, you know what we got to do? We got to do a little dancing this morning. So this is the part of the show where I need you to hit that share button. That's right. I need you to hit that share button, because I believe if we could change the way people start their day, it'll make a massive impact on this planet. I truly believe that. And sometimes all it takes to change the way people start their day is for you to hit that share button. This is also the part of the show where I'm going to say good morning to you, and I need you to say good morning to me. Whether you're watching live or you're watching on replay, say what's up. How you doing, Pam Biddle? How you doing, Terry Collins and Danielle Rose? What's up, Casey Rossiter and Vicki Everett? Nathaniel Banks and Scott Holbert? How you doing, Jeff Baker, Leanne Ryan Smith? We've got Terrell Lake up in here. We've got Oh, did I say Pam? What's up, Cameron Goss down there in Tennessee? How you doing, Ann Gilbert, Mike Higdon, and Stephen Kuhn? Everybody up in here on hashtag Rise and Grind. Hey, what's up, Scott Simons? I was talking about you yesterday. Don Sankey's up in here. Melvin Rodriguez is up in here. Everybody's up in here on hashtag Rise and Grind. All right. Jonathan Diaz he's been having technical difficulties all morning. He says he's got a message to deliver, but the enemy is trying to keep him from delivering it. So I'm going to switch over and introduce you guys to Mr. Jonathan Diaz, and hopefully it'll work.
It says connecting Glenn Lundy's video.
I see you.
Okay.
Good morning, Jonathan. How are you?
Oh, Mr. Lundy, good morning. What is going on right now?
Buddy, it's chaos in the morning, my man.
You know, man, it's one of those things where when I committed, because like I said, this was a process for me. This has been a little over 2 years that I went down this rabbit hole, and that I had no idea. But when I committed in my head, because it took me about a year to come out with videos, because I was afraid to what people would think, or what was my past and what I am now. And it was one of those things where stuff started hitting me, and the stuff that I started to post, I was like, come on, I thought this was supposed to be easy. I'm getting good. I'm thousands of hours into studying and changing my life and changing the perspective, because life is about perspective, and it's not about what happens around us. And so when I started to learn that, I got nailed this morning. I'm like, are you serious? It's never said double tap left to download an app. And then we're on this and it's breaking up, and I'm just like, come on, man. But this is what life's about. It's constantly moving. Life was moving when you called me, and life is moving was last night and then this morning. And I'm excited to share the stuff to go, hey, I changed my thinking and it changed my life. And you hear that and you're like, dude, come on, we've heard that forever. No, I changed my thinking and it changed my life, because I was anxiety, panic, within 30 to 45 seconds of waking up every single morning, throwing up. So I had to take a Xanax or chug a beer or something like that. And it got worse and worse and worse. And I'll actually share the story. I withdrew from alcohol twice. And both times I seized. The second time is when I died. And that's the story that I wanted to share real quick. And that I can, fill in some stuff and let you know. There's just so much to share that I just wanted to hit you the one that kind of hit me the most. And even after almost being minutes away from dying, I didn't do the work up here, because, see, I thought, oh, Lord Jesus, come help me, please, please, please. And I got this version of God that he was a magic, come down in a fiery chariot, and boom, you're gone. And I prayed for like 7 years, but it wasn't until what you're saying. You got to take the step, and you got to realize that we are in control, that what we think, what you think you are, you are. What I think I am, I am. And so our thoughts dictate the direction of our lives. So I'll tell you the story. It had gotten really bad, really, really bad. I was on my knees, bawling my eyes out. I wasn't able to get Xanax. It had been 3 or 4 days. And when you stop taking Xanax, you're real. And you go into like a deep, deep, deep hole. And I never understood suicide. And then when I had those thoughts, those days, and I was on my knees praying to God, I was like, Lord, I can't take this no more. I can't take it no more, because it was too much.
Right.
And then I realized, I was like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I said, oh my God, I get why people do that, because I just wanted to sleep permanently. And it was the only rest I ever got was sleeping, which is why I started to drink. And it started when I was married to my first wife, and I messed that up and made bad decisions. And I lost my son to 84 nights out of the year. And that really upped my my drinking, because I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. And so
I'm losing you, boss. I'm
sharing my
you.
story. So
there you are.
Give me a second.
You're back. Hey, Jonathan.
Okay.
Hey, Jonathan.
So,
Hey,
anyways,
Jonathan, can you hear me?
you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
You there?
Yeah, do me a favor. Do me a
Yes, I can hear you.
when you
I can hear
move
you
the
now.
when you move the phone around a lot, then it starts to get staticky. So try keeping the
Okay.
phone still.
Okay. Can you see me now?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, so I was on my knees that night, and I knew I needed to let some stuff go because I spent my whole life, and I was not happy, and I had become so unhappy in my life, and I had, like I said, developed depression, anxiety, and everything. I couldn't go into gas stations without feeling anxiety. I couldn't go anywhere, and so I constantly needed to drink. I constantly needed the Xanax, and when you mix Xanax and drinking, it's not good. It's not healthy for you. And so it just always got progressively worse. I couldn't get on roller coasters, and it was bad. So I'd gotten to the point where that day I had had my 11th beer of the day, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't do it anymore, and I I knew that I needed to change, and so my friends knew I needed to change, and so they took me to my parents' house. And this was the second time withdrawing. I can tell you the first time, but the second time was way, way worse. I can't even describe to you the pain. They say it's worse than a heroin, and they say that you should never do a cold turkey. And I was just so done. I didn't want to drink. I wasn't drinking because I'm an alcoholic per se. I was drinking because I couldn't function. I needed that. I thought I needed that. See, perspective. Failure does not happen overnight. Success doesn't happen overnight. It is small times, little decisions, the micro habits that you wind up losing, and then before you know it, you're screwed. And so I went to my parents' house and started that process, and I felt so bad, man. I felt so bad. And the second day, throwing up, vomit, diarrhea, just cold sweats, and the absolute despair. And the second day, I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I don't feel good. I feel like the worst feeling of my life. And the next thing, I woke up to 6 paramedics in the room. And my mom had said that I started to convulse. I was foaming at the mouth. My eyes had rolled back. And I woke up, and I was in a daze, and I had seized. And that's what happens with severe alcoholic, is on day 2, you seize. And my heart was racing, and I didn't know. I was dazed. So they wound up getting me in the stretcher and taking me to the ambulance. And I remember being in the ambulance. I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? Like, what have I done with my life? I've allowed a circumstance to just destroy me. And I was like, oh man. So we got to the hospital, and there were friends. I was in the ER, I was in the emergency room, and the doctor goes, hey, bud, fib RVR, it's 220 beats a minute. You're not going to last much longer. We're going to have to shock you. We can't get your heart to stop. And so they said, we're going to try to put you to sleep. And so he said, count back from 80. And I counted back from 80. And I got a little groggy, but I wouldn't go down. And so they re-injected me. I still wouldn't go down. And he goes, partner, we're going to have to zap you alive. Like, you're going to have to feel it. And I was like, oh, crap. And then in that moment, that instant, I don't know how long it was, but I went and I was up in the room. I was in the same room, but I was up above. And I don't remember, because I'm not going to add something to the story to make it better or anything. I don't remember if someone was floating next to me or not, but I was floating in the air looking down at me and the team around me. And then he goes, rubs it, and goes, clear. And when he put the paddles on and hits me, I arc up and I come back in my body. And the pain of the shock, I just remember with my teeth gritting to the left, because that's where my heart was. And then I came back down, whatever it was. They ended up getting my heart back into rhythm. And it was even then that I knew, I was like, my mind, everything was bad. So I ended up staying at the hospital a couple days, and ended up being decently good. I still dealt with anxiety, though. That's the problem. I never dealt with my head game, and that's why I was watching to everybody, that what he's saying is, in your morning routine, it is everything. I was at the gym this morning still, and I have a morning routine, but I didn't know how to change. So I did willpower, and so I got a little better. I always dealt with anxiety, but then I started dealing with anxiety. My relationship with my wife, now girlfriend at the time, had gone through a rough patch, and it started to really, I started to lose it again, and started drinking to manage it again. Still taking Xanax. At this point, my doctor had moved, and so I was self-medicating. And then it got super bad in that year. And then it got to the point where, back to where I was on my knee, I knew I was not functioning. I had ran out of Xanax. I couldn't get a hold of it. And I prayed the night before. I said, I need to let go, because we hold on. See, we hold on to anger, to pain, to bitterness, and we get mad at people, or we don't forgive people. And we don't realize that's weighing us down. You're weighing yourself down. Like I had to let stuff go. I had to let stuff go with my divorce and with my in-law, just everything. I had to let go. So I let go the night before, and it felt so good, but I was still dealing with it the next day. So I had 11 beers, and it was 2 o'clock, and I finally got a hold of Xanax, and I was like, oh man, I kind of feel like calm, and I haven't taken anything, a little better. So I ended up getting it, and I took it. And that night, me and my girlfriend, now wife, went to have a couple of drinks, and I didn't need it. And I was like, all right, the Xanax is working. I am okay. And so the next day, for the first time in a long time, I woke up. I don't need a beer. I don't need a Xanax. This is weird. Let's give it 10 minutes. And that 10 minutes turned into 30, and that 30 turned into a day. And I literally, for like a month, listened to praise and worship music, and that's all I did, because that's all I could do. Because I still dealt with the anxiety a little bit, because that pressure of that heartburn. So in my mind, I knew I needed to change. So I wanted to be happy. I was not happy, because, see, I always thought that happiness was in the accruement of things, houses, accomplishments, and all that. And it's not. Happiness is an inside job. You got to realize that your happiness is on you. And I always put my happiness on everyone else and everything else. And so I was an empty life for a very long time. So then I decided, I said, okay, I need to go on YouTube. I have a job that I can put my headphones on. And then I started to listen to Tony Robbins. And all of a sudden I was introduced to him, and I said, wow. And I listened to everything Tony Robbins that he has on there. And I started to listen to books, and I started to understand. And then I got this understanding, and I said, ooh, 90% of what you think and how you act, like your subconscious runs 90% of your life. So that means we only have 10%. So if we can fix that 10%, if we can get to that 10% and become conscious, because we just live, and we don't realize that we are important, and that every decision, see, we think no decision matters. Every decision should matter, because even how I met you, even how I got onto this page, I met Chad watched a video, I got on, he invited me to your page, and then I started posting. And so the longer I did this, I knew that I needed to share, that it is on you, that you can change at a cellular level. You can change your DNA. See, we think we're predisposed to be who we are, or we allow circumstances to bat you into who you're not. But you can change. So get to your subconscious. How do you get to your subconscious? Because your subconscious mind can process so much faster, and we don't realize that it does run the majority of our lives. So how I did it was the headphones, repetition. And then I started to learn about affirmations. And it's not just about affirmations to go, oh, I look good, I do. It's that you're ingraining it in your system, and that you're getting it. And so I'm about 4,000 to 5,000 hours in about a little over 2 years of listening to everything, and I'm obsessed with it. And I'm obsessed with becoming the best version of myself. And I have this, and this is a little analogy that I don't know if I heard it from somewhere or if I came up with it, because I've heard so much stuff. But you must become the best version of yourself. You got to try to become the best version of yourself every day. And how that works is this. Think of a piece of little thin, tiny paper. Boom, put it down. Well, that's not a lot of change, Glenn. Put another piece of paper down. You're still looking at it going, the frick, can't see paper. But at the end of a year, you keep stacking that paper every day, that minute changes, you're eventually going to be a whole new person. And that's how I was able to change, was going, okay, I'm becoming obsessed with becoming the best version of myself, and that gives your life meaning. So my life took meaning. And when you have meaning and you find out your why, I believe that this right here, what I'm doing, this is what I want to do for a living. I got big aspirations and big dreams because I want to impact people. I want to be a millionaire of people. I want people to go and understand that no matter where you're at, it's a start, and admit where you're at and be okay with it and accept it. But then you can go up. You can go up from there. You can go up from there. You don't have to stay where you're at. You are not who you are. You can literally decide and start doing the habits and actions to get to where you want to get to. And so I think that is what you should do every day, because if you're trying to be the best version of yourself, Glenn, you're going to be a better husband. You're not going to want to lose your temper. You're going to be a better father, a better businessman, a better parent, a better everything. And if every day you're only competing with yourself, I got to get better, I got to do better, your whole life will drastically change. And by saying, I'm a giving person, I love people, because I used to be selfish. I used to be all about myself. I used to have an ego. I had accrued some successes early in life. I was on stage at a church leading worship. And so people started saying stuff. I had worked out. And so you start selling yourself these lies, and it's the little ones. And you start screwing up because you just make one, it's not bad, but I'll do that. And then over the course of 15 years, I wound up in a 7-year hole of depression. I was on the highest dose of Celexa. And I can say that right now in my life that I'm the most comfortable that I've ever been in my skin, because I was doing the work. And every day, I'm not kidding, every single day I get up, I have my morning routine, and I have these things, and I put them on, and for 7-8 hours a day, I'm listening to books. I want to learn. I'm obsessed with knowledge, and that this right here is everything.
That's it.
Is everything, and that we got to become conscious. We got to stop being. See, we're worried about robots. Well, maybe we're the robots, Glenn. 91%, 90%. You guys are not realizing that we're running from it's our subconscious, and that the first 7 years of a child's life is the programming state. They are downloading. They're in theta. And that is our job. And that the programs that we downloaded aren't even ours. And that 70% of those programs that we run every day in our heads, they're negative. And that we think, I think it's like 80 to 85%, we think the same thoughts. Because we have about 70,000 thoughts a day, 65. We think the same thoughts 90% of the time. That's sobering.
Right.
That's sobering.
Yeah, man.
We're robots. So anyways, it was just one of those things where, I didn't learn. And it took me a long time to learn. And so now I'm excited. I'm happy. I love doing these things. It just makes me so happy. And God sent his son down. And he said, be like him. And what did he come down? He came down not to be served, but to serve. There's something to be said when you can do something greater than yourself. And when you serve people, when you become a giver, when you become grateful, you start changing. But all you got to do, and see, we think, I got to change. And so every time I try to change, 5, 6, 10 things I got to change. You're never going to change 5 or 6 or 7 things. Negotiate with yourself. Change one little thing and every day get better, because in changing that, you develop discipline. You have to have discipline in your life.
That's it.
I don't know. I'm talking. All I'm doing is talking, Glenn. I'm sorry.
Speaking of discipline, my man, we have to honor people's time this morning, and so we're already out of time. But, dude, I got to tell you, you are such a powerful human. I love it. I appreciate the fact that – no, listen, dude, this is all gold. I appreciate the fact that I got to sit back this morning and just receive. Thank you for serving me. Thank you for serving me this morning and filling my cup back up, man. That's powerful. 4,000 or 5,000 hours of downloading that you've got going on in there. Understanding that it's about servitude and that we cannot be selfish in our actions. We have to live for something more. And I love the analogy of just using one piece of paper and another and another and another and another. And sooner than later, you got this thick thing, right? Like you could tear one piece of paper. It's easy to tear one piece of paper. It's hard to tear a bundle, right? Like we are in awe when the bodybuilder tears the phone book, right? So I love that analogy. I love where you're at now. I love your light. I hope you will continue to inspire in our group. You guys look up Jonathan Gabriel Diaz. Make sure you follow and watch his videos. I'm gonna pour it into you that, man, you need to keep going. If it is your dream and your vision to be on the stages and to be pouring into people, doing what you do, brother, just keep going because you're winning. You got my attention. Me and Steve Brewster were sitting at his house on the lake, his big old 9,500 square foot house, and we were sitting there and we were talking about you because you, that's my awesome. Friend, are making an impact. All of your actions, like you even said earlier, all of these actions you're taking, they're making an impact. They're making an impact on your friends, on your family members, on your coworkers, and this morning, you've made an impact on me and all the fellow Rise and Grinders right here in hashtag Rise and Grind, and I, for one, brother, absolutely love you for it. I do.
Dude, thank you for having me on the show, and thank you guys for everyone that sends stuff to me and that sends messages. It encourages me, and I just know this. If you change your thinking, you will change your life. And it starts with small. And it starts putting stuff in repetition. So I love you guys. I love you, Glenn. Man, it was awesome, man. You're in my orbit now. We're orbiting together. So we'll figure stuff out. So I love you guys, man. And thank you for having me on the show, for real.
Hey, love you too, brother. I'm going to pop over to this other screen where they won't be able to see you. But go ahead and hang tight. Wow. What about that energy on a Friday morning? If you're not fired up, jacked up, ready to rock and roll, there's something wrong with you. Listen, man, I want you to have an incredible weekend. I really do. I hope you have a powerful, over-the-top, phenomenal weekend. However, if for some reason Jonathan didn't get you jacked up enough and you need more videos, you can go to GlennLundy.com. Also, if you'd like some Rise and Grind gear, you can go to GlennLundy.com. We've got new gear that'll be coming out next week. But most importantly, will you come back? Will you please come back Monday morning? Actually, most importantly, the best way we can honor our guests is by hitting that share button. So if you haven't done so already, hit that share button and make sure you title your share. Title it like, "This dude's what's up," or something like "the most incredible energy in the morning you'll ever get." Title it something like that. Title your share and push him out to the world. It's the best way we can honor him. Make sure you follow him, because he's got nothing but good stuff for you. But most importantly, come back here Monday morning, 5:30 a.m. We're going to do this all over again on hashtag Rise and Grind. We'll see you.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. Hashtag Rise and Grind, hashtag Rise and Grind. First thing on my mind, early in the morning time. Daily motivation, feeling so divine. Waking up the nation, hashtag Rise and Grind, hashtag Rise and Grind, grind, grind.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say, Josh, because every single episode has to have a Josh O, just saying.